Let me know when my screen is visible. Okay, good.
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah, good. So we are going to talk about McKinsey's 7S alignment. So why, what's the importance of McKinsey's 7S? So it gives us a strategic framework for organizational excellence and to check if a person is leadership ready. Yeah. So what it would provide us, it would give us the code to understand the internal roadmap that would connect the strategy to execution. So all the things are very important. How are we trying to, complete that maze and how the execution is going to take off. So it's connecting the theoretical to the practical aspects. So we start with the shared values. So it's a 7S we are talking about. It has the hard elements and the soft elements. So we will start with the how are the shared values. So we all are working professionals. So I just want to, before we, I just take up these. So all your organization, do you have a set of values and beliefs? Yes, no, maybe. So everyone has that. So why does an organization has those values? The importance is that, so that each individual in the company knows that this is the value this organization lays importance to. So means it's kind of the, heart of the system, which is pumping blood to everyone. So, for every individual, it's important to understand ki what are the fundamental beliefs and norms that shape an organization's culture. They sit at the very center of the 7S model. Why? Because they influence the employee behavior and long term decision making. Like in my company, we have a shared value of humility. So, come what may, everyone has to be humble. Teamwork and respect for individual. So, whether a person is your senior or a junior, you have to have that respect for individual. Entrepreneurship. So, you get an opportunity if you have a project, then you are allowed to take those projects. Deliver the promise. Teamwork, learning and learning and spiritual intelligence, inner engineering, we believe in that. So we are a spiritual organization. Then are we taking any social responsibility? So we have our own, schools, colleges, vocational training institutes. So we have that, connection to the social responsibility. So all these, values, once they are into, when they are, when you are in an organization and they are part of the organization, they are the heart of the organization, then every individual that is working, it means that they all conform to those values. One is expected to conform to all those values. So if you see, there's a question over here. If you ask 10 random employees what the company truly values, would they give the same answer or not? So that is the purpose of the shared value. Clear? So moving forward. Then there is one is the center, which is the shared value. Then comes the strategy and then comes the structure. What is a strategy? So how the company wants to go in the future? Do they want to go into manufacturing? Do they want to outsource certain elements? What is the strategy? Do I want to, have strategic tie up with certain companies and get my work executed? Or I want to, keep it as an open playing field? So these are all parts of the strategy, which means that these are long term plans which through which a company can gain strategic competitive advantage. Leaders must ensure strategy is clearly communicated to every team member so that they know what are my top 3 priorities. So if you are a CEO and you have a team of 1,000 people under you, and if the strategy is not clear to people, they would be running here and there, and there would not be any meaningful outputs. That is the reason the companies have that vision, mission, objectives, so that all are clear what we want to do. That is why goal setting happens every year. That is a strategic exercise, so that from the top, the goals are percolated down to the lowermost individual, so that each individual is clear what are my top 3, top 5 priorities. Then we come to the structure. What does the structure means? Means how is the hierarchy? It is a linear structure, one person reporting to other, then there is a hierarchy top up approach. Or is there a matrix structure? One person reporting, having a functional reporting, having a lateral reporting. So there are, matrix structure in which one person can report to 2, 3 individuals on different axes. What does a healthy structure do? It enables accountability to the people. It ensures that the organization design directly supports the strategic mission. So the structure should be such that it supports your mission, your objectives. It should not create a roadblock or a bottleneck for doing all these things. Just okay. So in strategy and structure, there has to be an alignment. And structure should never be static. It must mirror your strategic goals. When shifting to a customer centric model, reporting lines must facilitate fast feedback loops. So if a company is in a model which there are too many customers, then it's important that that feedback is there and people are able to correct whatever feedback they are getting on immediate basis. So do reporting lines enable fast decision making? Is authority centralized or decentralized? How do cross functional teams coordinate? Are all these things clear? Any question before we proceed? Great. So then we come to, you know, once we have, the shared values, the structure, the strategy, then it becomes important that how are the operating systems functioning? How is the workflow? What are the daily processes? How are the, reporting structures? Are they formal? Are they informal processes? How is the IT infrastructure, the financial system? How is the reporting on these? How are the incentive, reward, and recognition systems? Because all these things make these 3S, strengthened. They act as enablers. Now we talked about the 3 hard S. Now we are moving towards the 4 soft elements, which are the human dynamics. Then what is the style? What is the behavior pattern of key managers? Is the culture collaborative or is it directive? Is it authoritative? Is it empathetic? How the leadership functions? Then we talk about what are the staff and skills. So, when we talk about staff and skills, how is the talent management and the organization's collective competencies? So, skills and competencies, how the individual is the competency mapping done? Are the individuals competent enough to take the roles they are performing? So now if we look at, the diagnostic, key question for leaders. If we look at the strategy means what does the strategy answer for us? How will we achieve our objectives? How do we deal with the competitive pressure? Then if we talk about structure, how is the team divided? How is the decision making? Centralized, decentralized. When we talk about systems, what are the rules, systems, processes that that keeps the team on track and are able to deliver the outcomes that they are supposed to do? If we look at the soft element diagnostic, four soft S elements: what are the shared values, what are the style, what is the staff, what is the skills? So are the values genuinely shared or merely espoused? Sometimes what happen in certain organizations, I have seen there are values, there are written values, but if you go and ask in the company what are your values, nobody would even remember what are the values. Leave about practicing, they don't even know what they are. They are there but just for the sake of being there. So do you follow your values? Are the values imbibed in the individual, in the company? So, style, how participative is your leadership? Is it directive? It is authoritative, or is it a collaborative approach? And what behaviors are actually rewarded? People see that and they tend to follow those. Staff. When we talk about the staff, then we spoke about that their competencies. And are they are they pro to the company? Are they staying long? What is the attrition rate? And skills, when we talk about that, how is the team doing well? How are the skills monitored? Are any assessment centers happening? Is there a skill dictionary? Are people monitored basis the skills that are required for a role and what the skills individual possesses? Is there any gap analysis happening? And what is the training module, training need identification, assessment, and implementation? Are these kind of programs happening or not? Okay, this is not required. So it has been seen that if there is an alignment of the 7S, then companies outperform. The performance becomes 2.2 times. Just give me a moment. Okay, sorry. And that's it. So now let's talk about do you have any questions before we move forward? So what are the 7S? Is it clear? Everyone?
Shared values, structure, strategy, style, staff, skills. What is the seventh one?
Strategy, systems.
That's done. Shared values, strategy, structure, style, staff, skills.
Systems.
systems and processes. Uh, so now clear to everyone, Marutesh, Rajesh, Neil. Okay, so what we will do now, I'm just going to, I want everyone to write down in your, notebook these 7S. Then I'm going to display a case. We all will do it together. Okay?
So before we do that, ma'am, just want to understand the use case of this strategy, this 7S, right?
That's what we are going to learn with that case.
All right. Okay.
That is the purpose. I'll just.
Just to repeat, we are talking about shared value, structure, strategy, system.
Wait,
Uh,
I'll put that also. Just give me. I'll put that
yeah,
also.
yeah, yeah,
You want me to put the question in the chat? Would that be okay?
yeah. That would be great.
So I want you to read it and design in your mind, on your notepad, whatever you understand, just put it. Just got it? Oh, I think, wait. It's saying it is, wait, I'll have to cut because it's more than the chat limit. Okay. So I'll put it in two chats. In first one, I have put the case, and in the second one, I have put the questions to answer. Just take 7 minutes to go through this. Understand, design your own strategy.
Good evening, everyone. Are we doing any activity? What is it?
Yeah, Ravi, I think you joined a bit
A
late.
little
No
late, yeah.
worries, no worries. So what we did, we just went through the McKinsey 7S framework,
Okay, okay.
and now I just gave a question in the chat.
Oh,
But
okay,
you
okay.
will need to understand the 7S. So once we are discussing the case, you will understand. Are you able to
Sure, sure.
get the case? Are you able to see it?
No, no, I don't see the chat, like anything in the
Acha,
chat.
I'll share it again. Don't worry.
Yeah, please. Thanks.
Just now you just read and understand. You do it from your own understanding. Just this case is given to you. You
Sure,
just see what you would do.
sure, sure.
Okay.
So Rema, I guess you have shared the strategy itself, 90-day roadmap you have shared on the chat window.
Okay, okay. No worries, no worries. Don't worry. If it is given also, it's okay. No worries. You can
Okay.
read it.
And if you share that 7S you shared, you will share that.
7S you want, I'll share.
Yeah.
At least you go through whatever is written. That's not a problem. Wait, I'll just put the screen.
Rema, I've shared.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Good, good, good. Very good. So has everyone gone through? Just give me a moment. I'm just trying to put things on slide. Good. Are we all ready to discuss? Yes, no. Who all are ready? Can I see thumbs up? Kalyan is ready. Preet is ready. You need some time. Sridhar, Marutesh, Neil, Ravi, Rajesh.
Yeah, 2 more
So,
minutes.
then,
Yeah,
Yeah.
1 minute.
Okay. Okay, 2 minutes more we can take. So what we'll do now, let us all, do it together. Let's do it together. Because if
Yeah, okay.
some echo is coming. Okay, I'll share the screen. Okay, now everyone come here. Let's do it all together. Okay. So what is this who will I want someone to read it. Who would read the case? Yeah, Marutesh, please
I
go ahead.
will.
Yeah.
Marutesh, go.
The legacy leap organization Global Logics, a 40-year-old traditional manufacturing and supply chain firm. The situation is Global Logics has dominated the market through robust physical infrastructure and long-term contracts. However, agile tech-native competitors are beginning to erode their market share by offering real-time tracking, AI-driven demand forecasting, and significantly lower overhead. The
Wait,
challenge,
wait. Now I just want you to wait. We have to just understand. So this is a very old traditional manufacturing company.
yeah,
And what is happening? They always had physical systems and they had all long-term contracts. So they were a safe and secure company with all those long-term contracts. But recently, what happened? Due to the advent of agile, tech native competitors coming up in the market, their market share began to go down. And the new companies, they are doing real time tracking, AI driven demand forecasting, and they have significantly lower overheads. So now, yeah, now go ahead, Marutesh.
challenge is you have been brought in as a new chief operating officer. The internal state, the workforce is highly experienced but resistant to digital transformation. This is how we have always done it, is the prevailing mantra. The tech gap, the current ERP
Hey, just,
system
just,
is
just, we are just trying to understand. So if we look at the internal, what's happening inside this global logics. So they are a very old firm, 40-year-old firm. And they all are very experienced people who are working in this company for a long, long time. But they don't understand this digitalization and whatever AI is coming. They are ignorant of that and they say that we have won, we have done it for the last 40 years. So their mantra is that this is how we have done it and we are happy. We will do it like this only. Yes, go ahead.
gap. The current ERP system is fragmented and data silos prevent a unified view of the supply chain.
Yeah, very important. What is the gap in that company? that their ERP system is fragmented. It is not integrated and interconnected, so they cannot see the complete picture. What is the order coming? What are the things in the inventory? What is the order that is gone? What are the payments that are coming? That complete one view on the dashboard, that is not there. It's all in bits and pieces.
Pressure is the board of directors expects to see a measurable digital pivot and a 15% reduction in operational waste within the next 12 months.
Yes. So you are now the COO. And what does the board of directors want from you? That you reduce the inefficiencies by 15% and you become a, I would say, what do we say? You become a transformer of the organization and bring that digital pivot. They want to see that, and that everything has to happen in 1 year. Now the question is clear, everyone? Okay, so
Yes.
they want you to derive a plan, 90-day plan. How are you going to, just take it forward? Any question before we start with the responses and we apply the 7S? Okay, good. So just let us try to understand looking at the 7S. So this is the 7S. If we put this 7S to this organization, so now your strategy has to shift from physical assets to digital, because now the pivot has to be digital. Why the people are having a friction? Why they don't want to adopt to the digital mode? Because till date, the old models have worked. They have given the revenue. So they feel like, the new thing is a threat rather than an evolution. They are not, ready to change. मेरा तो काम चल रहा है. Why should I, go in for this change? Yeah, resistance to change is there. Then we come to the structure. So we have to, whenever we are talking about change management, whenever we're talking about, drafting of, they can always ask you, give me a, next 90-day plan, how you are going to bring about this transformation, how you are going to. So when you talk about in, structured way that on strategy, this is the current thing, this is the new thing, this is the current, this is the new, what you are thinking. First, are we able to analyze what the current situation in the company is, or we straight away go about, talking about changes? That's very important, that are we able to understand what is the current situation and what is the to be state. When we do that gap analysis, then we are able to bring out a good roadmap how we want to move and in what direction and at what pace. Now, if we look at the structure, because this is an old manufacturing company, the structure is likely hierarchical and siloed. This structure is preventing the cross-functional data exchange, which is very much required for AI-driven demand forecasting. Now let's examine what are the systems. Systems, as they mentioned, it's fragmented ERP, which is the primary bottleneck. These are the formal processes and technical platforms that are currently failing to provide a single source of truth. So now we look at what are their shared values. At this moment, it's a nuclear zone. They have this, in feeling, this is how we have done it. And, and we always were stable. And they want a culture of stability over the innovation. Here, the core value is currently reliability. And what they need to include? Adaptability. Adaptability to move to a digital system. So, what is the style? If we look at the style, the leadership style must have been traditional and top down. And we look at it, what would be a digital pivot will require a shift towards more transparent, iterative, and communicative leadership to manage the anxiety of the legacy staff. Do you get it? Staff, you have high tenure but low digital literacy. The experience is a massive, it's massive asset for domain knowledge. They know what they have to do, but they are a liability for a technical change. They don't want to do a technical change. And if we look at their skills, what is the word to be state? To be a digital pivot. So there is a glaring skill gap in data science, RAG, AI tools, and agile project management. Any question before we move to the strategy? Any question on these 7?
So basically what we have done here is we have filled the buckets based on the case, correct? We haven't come to a solution yet.
Perfect.
Just like
Perfect.
we
It
segregated
is our
everything.
understanding whenever we
Yeah.
want to talk about a change, then where are we on each thing? And with respect to the to be state, what are the gaps?
Right. Okay.
So what I am trying to do today, we will cover this case. Tomorrow I'll give 1 or 2 cases depending upon the time we have. And I want each one of you to present 1, 2 parts. Everyone will present. That's okay?
Yeah, but what see until now this is just the diagnosis, right?
Yeah, we will do. Abhi, we are not done yet. Abhi, we are assessing it now. We'll move forward.
All these 7 S's are
This
given
is just we
by-
have done the diagnostic.
Okay.
Okay. So now we see how would we design the 90-day roadmap. So see, we cannot always apply a rip and replace strategy. That will bring about a shock in the organization. So what we will do? We will run it in 2 tracks always. So track 1 will focus on stability. You will keep the legacy systems running, the core manufacturing to ensure revenue remains steady. The track 2 will launch a digital lighthouse project in which you will have a cross-functional team which will work on specific high waste areas using modern AI tools. Is this making some sense? Yes? No, maybe? Yes, Sridhar? Good. Then how do we do the prioritizing? Key priorities. Firstly, prioritize systems via data audit. The hardest. Before fixing the ERP, conduct a shadow IT and data audit. Identify the 3 most critical data silos that, if connected, would immediately improve visibility. You cannot reduce waste by 15% if you cannot measure it accurately. Okay, you get it? So, firstly, we have to understand, we have to do the data audit, because what was our objective in the beginning? We have to reduce the waste. That is our key KPI, one of the important KRA. We have to do this. Then prioritize the style. via listen and learn tours, soft tests to manage. This is because what is their mantra was that this is how we have done it earlier. Yeah, dashboards can be. Dashboards nowadays, so everywhere, for everything, there has to be a dashboard. So
Dr.
when we
Hem,
talk, yeah.
what do we mean here by shadow IT? I understood data audit, but shadow IT I'm unable to understand.
Actually, whenever we talk about shadow, it means, that the IT is there is a shadow person who is doing this audit. Systems are running, but there is a second layer which is, watching and doing the audits.
Okay.
It's in today's terms, this shadow is become a kind of I would say a very it's a term just for use. Like a doctor, you shadow a doctor when you are an intern.
Mm. Okay.
So when you are how you are doing conduct a shadow IT and data audit, what you do is that you put a person who when people are working on the IT system, they'll just watch over and keep noting, record keeping, and then they will bring about the results.
Okay. All right.
So the mantra is that we have always done it like this. This is about the long tenured staff. So what has to be done? Spend few weeks on the shop floor. And you have to keep on talking to the people, frame the digital shift not as replacing their wisdom, but as giving them better tools to leverage their wisdom. So you have to explain to them. So, like here we have written, you prioritize style via this. You need not follow the same approach. You will say that, okay, I will conduct a town hall where I will, tell people that this IT system, the digital transformation would be an enabler and it will improve their efficiency, and the organization as a whole would be benefited by taking more number of orders, and we all would be getting some, work life balance. So that could be your strategy. So each individual may not have the same strategy, but yes, the understanding diagnostic would be the same. Then prioritize skills by identifying digital champions. See what happens if the company is traditional. There would not be many people who know more about the digitalization and the technology. So find about, from the current staff, find the people, at least 5% of the existing staff who are tech curious. Pair them with external consultants or new hires to form a lighthouse team. This creates internal buy-in rather than appearing as an outside invasion. So if you bring total team from outside for carrying out a digital transformation project, it will never be a success. So there has to be some internal champions. But if in the internal team you take people who are opposed to change, they will never let the project happen. So you have to pick and choose some new, fresh people who are really tech curious, who wants to do technology, and they are ready. Pair them up with external consultants and make a good team and carry on this project. Yeah, buddy partners, it can be done. Yeah. So now, what are the trade-offs? Because the board has given you an aggressive targets, so you have to understand what you have to do and what you won't do. So the trade-off one would be depth versus speed in ERP. So if we talk about, in ERP, do we want to, पूरे घर के बदल डालूंगा, or I will choose a selective approach that these make 20% of the things which make 80% of the impact. Do I want to focus on those, or do I want to focus on 100%? So then you will think that if I do a full scale ERP overhaul, which may take multiple years, no. What I will do, I will prepare in between a data lake or a middleware or API layers that will pull data out of the legacy systems for immediate AI analysis. Then the next trade-off is culture versus talent. What would happen when you bring such change and transformations, people who have been in the company for 40 years? What they would do, they would say कि वो ये company तो बर्बाद हो गई, ये पता नहीं क्या कर रही है, transformation and all, which we don't understand. So maybe, they will leave the company. So it is quite possible that few people would leave the company. So you have to live with it. Protecting the new culture is worth the temporary loss of their domain expertise. We have to understand that. Then what is the next trade-off? Perfect data versus directional data. So you want 100% accuracy or 80% accuracy with speed. If we wait for a perfect data, which in a fragmented system, we will never be able to complete the project. So what we have to do, we have to understand that, yes, we have to live with 80% accurate data. So is it making some sense that whenever we are assigned with a project where we want to, bring about a change, or you are made the head of a business or head of a unit, where you need to bring about these kind of success stories, this is what you are going to be. But what if somebody asks you that, have you led an initiative which you have been able to transform something in a efficient way? What was your success story? So this, you can weave it as your success story also, that when I was made head of this project. It's not necessarily about an organization, but any business unit, if you were ever made head of, or any project, you can put it with respect to a project as well. So when I was made head of this project, those people who were there in this project, they were all reluctant to when we were starting the automation project in my function, then most of the people had that feeling that if we move into the AI and automation, we will be losing our jobs. This insecurity was not letting them come into the project. So I did a town hall and made my people understand the importance of the AI and automation project. Post this, all the people were happily, contributing towards the project. So then different elements we can stitch, addressing the concerns of people through this framework. So what I want you to do, think about case study we can do later also, but I want you to, from your career, pick up any one project where you can weave all these 7. It's not necessary you have all the 7 elements. It's possible you have only 2, 3 only, because the values of the organization may be same. But still it is possible that within one department, the values are a bit different. It is quite possible. So just everyone think about a case where you can use at least 3 or 4 S, 1, 2 from the soft, 1, 2 from the hard elements. That would be wonderful. And weave out a story which we all can hear tomorrow. I know it would require some thought process. Even I will weave out one, and I'll start, and then maybe it will give a direction and everyone else can say post that. Is it making any sense?
Sure. So I have a question about the trade-offs. At which stage of the transformation do we discuss those trade-offs? I presume it's in the early stages. And if you're doing that, who are
Definitely.
the
It's
stakeholders
in the
involved in that?
roadmap only.
Yeah.
When you are planning that time, like for success of any automation project, data cleansing is a must thing. If bad data, bad output, garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
But shall we wait for the 100% data to be clean to start the project? Then data cleansing itself is going to take 6 months. But the whole project duration is only 6 to 8 months. So we start with, 30-40% data cleansing. And as we progress, we keep on, working on the data and churning the data. So all these trade-offs happen in the beginning.
Right. So looking at the case study you have given us and the points you have talked about trade-off, right? Speed versus the depth, and then the talent versus the culture. So it looks like it's going to be a major transformation across the organization, which involves a lot of stakeholders, the business units, the HR, the training teams, right? So it could be a wider organizational transformation, which probably is applied here. So,
Sridhar, just hold on. First I want to respond to this. See what happened. This may be a major organization because this case is about a company who is into manufacturing and they were traditional and they are moving to automated systems. But nowadays, if we look at any organization within smaller units, within departments, people are moving towards digital transformation exercises. So you don't have to talk about your company, what you have done. Just look at your function and whatever digital transformation has happened within your function, whatever your role has been, how can you amplify that role and, through this 7S, make it look like you did really a great job.
right.
Now,
Okay.
yeah, anything further you had to ask on this?
No, I'm good.
Okay, anything else? How many minutes is ideal for such a
How
narrative?
many minutes for
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
narrative?
See, 2 to 3 minutes. 2 minutes is good. 1.5 to 2 minutes. In leadership, the less you speak is
Yeah.
better.
Lesser is more, yeah.
Don't stories and what I did, then screw and nut bolt. No. Talk about the bigger pictures.
Right.
The lesser, the better, but the content and intent both should be clear. Good. Chalo, have a good night's sleep and we'll catch up tomorrow.
I think the banking system from the legacy into digitization is a good example, right? I mean, the
Wonderful.
whole
Everything
banking
nowadays,
industry.
everything is getting digitized. The retail, look at the Walmart and look at the grocery stores of the earlier era. But we have to take an example where we have done that transformation. I want those
Because
examples.
banking, it was a mandatory thing, and the whole manpower used to be on the legacy system, the pen and paper, and then it was all the senior staff that used to be working from. They didn't know what computer was. They have seen their kids going into computer classes and things like that. But they themselves were not very aware of how to use a computer and all. But they adapted to it and they transformed the whole industry, transformed into digitized system. So from the case that you're saying, that's the best example that I can think of.
Yes, yes, yes.
Our own BSNL.
Everything. Just look at your own industry, your own company, and what your role has been in any transformation. and apply these elements to your team. I want the real stories.
Yeah.
ठीक है?
Sure.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay, then we're just signing out. Okay,
Thank
bye-bye.
you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you
Good
so much.
night.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.